got it, I got it, I want it, I got it, I want it, I got it.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you what I read in the year 2022. I've done this, I think, the past 2 years already. So this is my third time doing it. Let me know down in the comments if you have read any of these books that I have read this year, or any suggestions that what I should read this year. I put them into categories, so let's get started. We're first going to start off with fiction. So these aren't in the order that I read them. So this is the first book that I read. It is Frozen 2: Secrets of Shadows. I actually read this month in December. This was like the third last book that I read. Was this one. I rate it a 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely meant for like people who are younger than my age, but I love Frozen, so I read it. And also, like, hold on, look at that. Like, look how pretty that is. And then you go to the back of the book. It's just a lighter version. It's so nice and so pretty. I love books that like have this thing, like a map of the world. But yeah, this book is a 10 out of 10 for me. I really do like it. If you're a big Frozen fan, I think you'll enjoy it too. This takes place right before the second movie. So there's that. The next category is romance. I only read one romance book, and that is The Love Hypothesis. I saw this all over TikTok and like my Instagram, and I was influenced to read it. I quite enjoyed this book, especially because the main female character is Canadian, like me. So I really enjoyed that, even though there was some icks. But I was just like, no one in Canada does that. But I did enjoy it. It's a really good romance book. I definitely recommend it if you really like romance. It's a very sweet romance. It's fake dating, the fake dating trope. But I rate this a 9 out of 10. Really did enjoy it. So yes. The next category we're going into is poetry. I only read 2 poetry books. So the first one that I read is The Strength in Our Scars. There we go, The Strength in Our Scars. This is a good book from what I remember. It's been literally a whole year since I've read it though, so I did enjoy it. This was one of those mystery books that I got because I couldn't open it to read it for a bit, so I went blindly and trusting. On the back which says, "You're not broken, you're becoming." This is from thoughts category, so it's not really poetry, even though it was in the poetry section. It's like poetry plus thoughts to make you think. But I did enjoy this. I gave it a 8 out of 10. If you want to read this, go for it. The next book that I read, this was the last book I read of 2022, is just called Love. It's very holographic, especially on the back. Holographic. This was really sweet. It's written in a man's perspective about the love he has for his partner. I really did enjoy this. It was very sweet. It talked a lot about romance, how he sees her through the world. I loved the pictures in it. I was trying to find like a photo. Like, here's that one. You can see it. In the beginning it says they're all based on tattoos from a tattoo artist that just draw them up. But I did like this. I give this probably like a 9 out of 10. I really like it. You should go read it if you want to. The next category we're going to go into is fashion. Fashion reading. 4 books. I bought this set because last year for Christmas in 2021 I got a gift card to Indigo, which is the bookstore that's most popular here in Canada, and I got these. I ordered them online and I read them. So the first one I read is The Little Book of Chanel. This talks about Coco Chanel, like how she brought up her, of course, the House of Chanel, and it talks a little bit about how their fashion style changed throughout the decades and everything, and also about the designers who took over after she had passed. I really did enjoy this book. I loved learning about her life and about the history of Chanel. This book isn't definitely for everyone, but if you're a big fashion lover and you love Chanel, I would read this. I must say all the other books, they did come in a set that I got, but I'm pretty sure you can get them by yourselves. And there's like a Louis Vuitton one, there's a Prada one as well, which I'll get to that. But yeah, definitely do like this if you're a big Chanel person or you want to learn more about the history of these houses. I would recommend it. So this one is a 9 out of 10 for me. I like that one. The next one in the set that I had was The Little Book of Prada. This book was a bit more different. I noticed it more talked about the fashion throughout the decades of when it was around, instead of talking about like the person who created Prada and who was the original designer. It more talked about like their signature pieces throughout the decades and everything, which it was still interesting. It talked a little bit, I think, about like the people, like this chapter is called Art and Design, but I did like it. It wasn't my favorite that I read so far, because it did more, like I said, talk more about the fashion of what Prada did. So I would give this a 8 out of 10. If you like Prada, you can read it. It'll talk about mostly their fashion throughout the years though. That's what I noticed at least. So 8 out of 10. The next one that I read in the set is The Little Book of Gucci. This talks about the fashion house, like I said. This one, I think, yeah, this one talks a little bit about like the person who created about the person who created Gucci. I did like this one a bit better. Obviously, we know there's a movie called The House of Gucci, so there's that. I did like this. I think I like this better a little bit slightly more than the Prada one, but it's definitely not my favorite of like the books. But yeah, if you like Gucci, read it. Yeah, it talks about a little bit of the designers and what made them iconic. The last one I read is The Little Book of Dior. Now this mostly talks about the designers who took over Dior, which is really nice. But yeah, it also talks about a little bit of like the celebrities who wore them. Like there's Princess Diana in there. Who else was in here? I can't really think. Yeah, there's just another one. But yeah, I did like this one. This one was probably my favorite out of all the other ones because I think I like their fashion sense a bit better. It just aligns with my style better. But definitely my favorite out of the 4 that I read. So if you like Dior, go for it. I give this a 9 out of 10. My favorite out of the 4. My second favorite has to be the Chanel one. Let's see, look how pretty that looks together. So let's move on to the next category. The next category is definitely the biggest one of the bunch. It is the manga bunch that I read. There's a lot. It's like slipping all over the place. This isn't the first one I read of like what got me into it, but this one is Spy X Family. I saw this all over TikTok again, with like people dressing up as the characters and about talking about like the show. So I was like, I'm gonna read it. I only have the first one. I don't have the second one yet, or like any of the other ones. I did like this. It was kind of different from what I usually had read but I do like it. It was a good book. I would read the other ones. I did kind of spoil it for me because I did try to find the episodes but I couldn't, so I read a summary of the episodes, so I already knew what happened in this one, but I still haven't figured out the other ones, so I gave this a 9 out of 10. I would read the other ones. This is the second book. These are just like the single stories that I have. This is I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. This is the complete set, so it's quite thick. I love this book. It made me tear up so bad because it was just so sweet and so like cute. It's literally at the back it says a bittersweet romance. I would recommend you to read this because it was so sweet. Oh my god, I loved it, especially like the people in it. Also, I just love the cover as well. The cover is like super pretty, which isn't the main focus. I know they always say don't judge a book by its cover, but I definitely do. Like if it doesn't catch my eye, then I probably won't read it. The only problem with these books is that they're not in color. Like there's only this part that's in color, and then you go and they're just all in black and white. So I wish they were in color, but they're still very good. I rate this one a 10 out of 10. It would, especially when you get to the end, if you want to have a little cry, you can read this. It made me shed a tear, so yes. Yeah, I definitely recommend this one. So the next ones are the first series that I read, which got me into it because I watched the show on Netflix, is Sailor Moon. I've heard of Sailor Moon all my life, and my sister used to watch it, but I just never watched it for some reason. So now I am watching it and reading the books. I only have the first 3 because I'm looking for these collections, and these ones are still coming out. So, but yeah. Oh, I like this. This is definitely more the style I go to. But also this one just has a special place in my heart because it's like one of the first books that I read. And I just dropped the book. When I was first reading these, it was kind of hard because usually I hold a book like this and I read like this, but you have to read the opposite way for me. So that was a little bit of a learning curve, but it didn't take too long to get used to it. But I give this one a 10 out of 10. I would recommend the Sailor Moon books. And then of course I have the second Sailor Moon book, which I also really liked. I don't have much to say about these just because like it's Sailor Moon. I feel like Sailor Moon is one of the most, okay, I don't know if I want to say the most popular, but to me the most recognizable to me, who's never been in this, like I would recognize her right away. So yeah. The second one I also rate a 10 out of 10. Same with the third one, which, fun fact, she's actually like part of my zodiacs because she's the Mars, and Mars rules my zodiac. Yeah, I also really like this one. I'm trying to look for the fourth one. Rate this one a 10 out of 10 as well. This next series, I have quite a lot of them, is the Apothecary Diaries. I got all 7 of them. Again, the lighting. All 7 of them. I just got the 7th one like on the 30th or 31st of December. Here's the first one. It is cute. I do like the character. She starts off in, oh, I can't remember the palace name. I think it's the Jade Palace, where she works for like one of the emperor's wives, and she like helps them. At least I think that's the first one. But I did like this as a 10 out of 10 as well. Would recommend it. It's a great series, especially because when I was buying them, they had this sticker of like, oh, staff's pick, which is annoying because I had to peel them off. But this is the second one. Also really like as well. It's a 10 out of 10. I'm just gonna go through these ones fast because they're essentially like all the same for rating wise. So this one is a 10 out of 10 as well. I really liked it. I'm trying to think what was my favorite one favorite book out of like all of them. So I'm just like quickly scanning through them just to like find the one that I like. She eventually starts working for like a different dude, which I am rooting for the romance. I don't know if this is gonna have romance, but between the two main characters, between these two, I'm rooting for the romance. I don't know if it's gonna end in that way, because I know there's still quite a couple that needs to come out. So 10 out of 10 for this one. I think the 6th one is probably my favorite, maybe. Yeah, I think the 6th one's my favorite. Or 5th or 6th. I don't know which one. But this is the 6th one. It's also a 10 out of 10. I really do like this series. If I could recommend any series, I would recommend this series because I did like it the best. Because there's so many that I have, obviously. Because I know Spy X Family, there's like a bunch of them already out, but I only have one of them. For these ones, I was like, I must have the next one, I must have the next one. Which I think that if that's any of a sign of a good book is when you constantly want the next one to like carry on the story. So this one's also a 10 out of 10. And then I have the recent one that came out. Yeah, also a 10 out of 10. I have no clue when the next one comes out though, so it's probably going to be a couple months, maybe. But yeah, I do like this one. She's just also like, the character's just so cute and twisted. I like it. But that is what I read in 2022. Let me know down in the comments below if I've convinced you to read any of these, or if you've read any of these. And also let me know what I should read next. Yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!